Your dog meets you at the door, tail going, eyes bright, doing the little dance he does every single day. He looks perfect. He looks like himself. And that's exactly the problem, because what you can't see is that, for days now, something inside him has been quietly wrong. And he's been carrying it in silence, greeting you, wagging, keeping up the whole beautiful performance, without a single complaint. This is one of the most bittersweet facts in all of animal behavior. Dogs are built to hide illness and pain, to conceal it, to work around it, to keep functioning as if nothing is happening, even from the person they love most in the world. It isn't stubbornness, and it isn't a lack of feeling. It's one of the oldest survival programs their species carries. And understanding why they do it, and how they actually cope when they're hurting, will change what you look for, and one day, it might let you catch something in time. Let's start with the assumption almost everyone makes. Sick dog acts sick. He'll be mopey, he'll whimper, he'll obviously be off. So as long as he's still eating, still greeting you, still wagging that tail, he must be fine. That assumption feels safe, and it is exactly the trap. Because dogs have been known to fracture a bone and still get up eagerly to greet their owner at the door. They will wag while in real, significant pain. In fact, this is such a well-known problem that veterinarians have had to build entire validated pain scales. Detailed scoring charts for posture, facial tension, and behavior, just to detect the discomfort dogs work so hard to hide. If sickness in dogs were obvious, none of that would need to exist. So the absence of obvious signs proves almost nothing. To understand why your dog is like this, you have to picture the world his instincts were built for. In the wild, a visibly sick or injured animal is in terrible danger. It becomes the easiest target for any predator watching for weakness. And within its own pack, showing illness could mean losing status, losing protection, being left behind. So over thousands of years, natural selection quietly favored the animals that could conceal their pain and keep going, the ones who never let it show. Your dog inherited that program, fully intact. When he hides his discomfort, he isn't being brave in the way a person chooses to be brave. He's running ancient survival code that says, whatever you feel, do not let it show. Even safe on your couch, with no predator for 1,000 miles, that code is still running. But domestication layered something on top of the instinct, something even more moving. Your dog isn't just wired to hide weakness. He's bonded to you and driven by routine and connection. So he will push through pain to greet you at the door, to go on the walk, to keep the rituals you share, partly because the bond and the habit override the discomfort. He hides what's wrong in part, to keep being your dog, to keep doing the things that make him him. There is something almost unbearably loyal in that. An animal quietly enduring just so the day can go on as normal, just so he can still meet you at the door. And here's what the science tells us about how this actually unfolds. Research into canine pain has found that the earliest signs of something wrong are almost never the dramatic ones. They're not limping or crying out. They're behavioral, and they're subtle, a little less enthusiasm for play, a bit more fearfulness, a slower bounce back from stress, a quiet withdrawal from the social life of the house. And these shifts can appear weeks before any obvious physical symptom shows up. Which means the very thing you might brush off as a mood or a personality quirk, or your dog just being lazy today, can be the first sentence in a message he's trying to send. When a dog can no longer fully hide that something's wrong, the way he copes tends to split in one of two directions, and it helps enormously to know both. Some dogs withdraw. They seek out a quiet, dim, out-of-the-way spot, go still, sleep more, and ask for less. This is the ancient response, the instinct to find a safe den and wait it out, away from the eyes of the world. It can be easy to mistake for a dog simply being tired or calm. Other dogs do the exact opposite. They become clingy. They follow you closer, press against you, seek your comfort and your closeness more than usual. Because when their body feels wrong and vulnerable, you are their security, their safe place. Neither one is the sign of illness on its own. The signal is the change, a dog moving away from whatever is normal for him. And it's worth remembering that some dogs are simply more stoic than others. Certain working breeds and flat-faced breeds show even less in their faces and behavior, which is all the more reason to measure your dog against his own baseline, not against how a sick dog is supposed to look. There's a piece of this that borders on the astonishing. A dog's sense of smell is so precise that trained dogs can detect certain cancers, oncoming seizures, and dangerous drops in blood sugar in humans, picking up the faint chemical signatures of disease before any machine sounds an alarm. Now turn that extraordinary nose inward. Many researchers believe a dog can, in some sense, smell and feel the chemical changes happening inside its own body, the shifts that illness sets in motion long before there's any outward symptom. So when your dog goes subtly quiet or seeks you out or slips off to rest somewhere alone, he may be responding to information about himself that you have no way of perceiving. He may register that something has changed inside him well before you ever could, and his instinct, quietly, is to carry it on his own. There's a gentler question underneath all of this. Does a dog actually know he's sick? And here we have to be honest and humble. A dog almost certainly doesn't understand illness the way we do. He isn't lying awake dreading a diagnosis or turning his mortality over in his mind or carrying the heavy human weight of what might come next. What he feels is more immediate, the plain wrongness of a body that isn't working right, and something in him responds to it, with stillness or with seeking or with a quiet steadiness that can look to us almost like acceptance. We should be careful not to pour too much of our own fear into him. But if there's a mercy in how dogs experience being unwell, it may be exactly this. They live it in the present, without the extra layer of dread that we would carry. They simply endure the moment they're in, and often, they endure it while still trying to comfort us. So that dog at your door, bright, wagging, totally fine, maybe carrying something he will never complain about. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because complaining was never in his nature. And because keeping up appearances is in the oldest part of his mind, how he stays safe and how he stays yours. He will hide his pain to go on being your dog. And that means he is quietly counting on you to see the very thing he is built to conceal. He can't ask for help in words, he needs you to notice. And that brings me to the most important part of this video. The part that can actually make a difference. Because dogs hide illness so well, you cannot afford to wait for the obvious signs. You become his early warning system, and the tool is simple: know his normal and watch for change. Gentle things worth a call to your vet include a shift in appetite or how much he's drinking, less interest in walks or play, sleeping more or in new positions, a new reluctance to jump onto the couch or climb the stairs, suddenly hiding away or suddenly becoming clingy, changes in grooming like licking at one spot over and over, or stopping grooming altogether, and panting or restlessness when it isn't hot. And please, try not to write these off as he's just getting old. That single assumption is one of the most common reasons real, treatable pain goes unnoticed for months. One tip veterinarians love: if you spot something, film a short clip at home, because dogs often mask differently once they're in the clinic. Studies have even found that just a little bit of owner awareness makes people far more likely to get their dog help in time. You are his voice. That's not a burden. It's one of the deepest ways you love him back. And here's the hopeful part, because none of this is meant to frighten you. Catching a change early almost always means an easier road ahead, simpler treatment, far less suffering, and often more good years on the other side. The dogs whose owners notice the small things tend to be the ones who get help while help is still simple. Your attention is quite literally one of the most powerful medicines your dog has. So when something feels off, trust that instinct and have it checked. The worst thing that happens is a vet tells you your dog is perfectly fine, and the two of you go home relieved. So the next time he meets you at the door, tail going, eyes shining, love it. Greet him back, let it be the best part of his day and yours. And then quietly really look at him. Because that wagging tail is not proof that all is well. It's proof of how much he will carry without a single word of complaint. And the kindest thing you can do for an animal built to hide his pain is to become the one person in the world who notices anyway. If this touched you or changed how you see your dog, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments. Has your dog ever hidden something until you almost missed it? Sharing your story might help another owner catch it sooner. And if you've ever noticed that your dog somehow seems to know the exact moment you're about to come home, waiting at the window minutes before you pull in, that's the next video. And how they do it is genuinely astonishing.